Okay, everybody rep.
Why is mine backwards?
Mine says football, but it's European.
Yeah. It's European. UNC. Go Heels, go.
Go Who's, baby. All
this
right.
is okay. We're also gonna have to get into what a who is, and for people who don't know what a Tar Heel is, because down in Columbus, there's a lot of people who don't know what a Tar Heel is.
Yeah, I don't know what a Tar Heel is, but
I don't know what a who is. Linz, do you know what a who is?
Welcome to 2 wash-ups and 2 pros.
3 wash-ups.
Kind of 3 wash-ups.
Maybe we'll call it 2.5 wash-ups, 1.5 pro. Stearns is making it in life. So, we'll call you a half pro, but we're still figuring it out, Yeah. Anyway, welcome, ladies. Me and Joe are ecstatic for this one because, as you know, both of our alumni schools here, UVA, UNC, battling in the College Cup, not to each other, which we like, right? We're hoping for
a championship
final, a championship. Oh God, I don't know what's going to happen if there's me and Joe are going to have to make some major bets here or something.
Yeah, because we can bet now.
But we thought it'd be fun to bring in some, the good old keepers,
goalkeeper
who would save our asses in the game, and chit chat about
all things UVA, all things UNC, all things goalkeepers. For some reason, I surround myself with goalkeepers. You guys are the greatest. I don't know why, but you guys, I just love goalkeepers. Well, one of my favorite things to do on this podcast is to actually just spit out notes on each person.
Yeah, give them there. Can
I do a little?
Hype them up.
I like to hype up each person. So,
do it, girl.
I'm going to start off with Morgan Stearns because I'm going to finish with a strong UNC Tar Heel.
Okay.
All right. UVA, Morgan Stearns. Some quick facts about you.
3rd generation. You didn't know that.
Yes.
She's a long timer.
She's a long time for who? She's a long time who? Did I use that right? Okay. Long time who? She has set the UVA record with 69 wins. Set UVA record for consecutive minutes with a shutout, 705 minutes.
Tina was on the defensive line. Give me a little something.
Go ahead. Yep.
Keep going.
Second in career shutouts with 33. And I would like you to know that for this bullet point, I said whole family went to UVA pretty much. And an youth national team player, that's obviously where our connection has started. That is Morgan Stearns. On the other side, 2 claps for Morgan Stearns. 1, 2. There we go, Linz. Yes, perfect. Okay.
Is that a UNC thing? Is that a UNC thing?
It's
I didn't know what was going on. I was like,
I wouldn't understand.
Nope, it's
we give a lot of love. Our love is not restricted. Endless love at UVA.
Yeah, that's ours. Yes.
Get out of here. So then on Lindsey Harris, our UNC. So I think it's great how we have it on each side of the College Cup bracket, which I think is lovely. You are the Jedi. And I'm first going to start off with the quote because some people, I think it's hilarious because some people did get slammed with these quotes by Anson on our bios. But Lindsay, I'm going to read Anson's quote on you, okay? Okay, here we go. Anson Dorrance on Lindsey Harris. Lindsey Harris, if she decides to go after it, it could be a national caliber goalkeeper. I believe she has the talent to play in the NWSL and compete with other goalkeepers who are out there. She is capable of the big save. We haven't had too many big save goalkeepers. Ginny Branham would be one. Ashlyn Harris would be another. There's just a small class of big save goalkeepers, but Lindsey Harris would be in that category. And I think she also has, sorry, don't mean to mess up your quote here. And I think she'll also have a successful professional career. And she is one of the best goalkeepers with her feet that we've ever had here at North Carolina. That's awesome. You also are a national champion.
Yeah, our coach, I love Steve, but we didn't get any quotes like that.
Yeah. But some people people got roasted. He does not hold back.
It's also like, love Anson, but like, I hope the goalkeeper now thinks she's a big save goalkeeper. She's like reading this like, okay, I'm still playing.
So, yes, so the big time goalkeeper. How did the Jedi? How did that nickname? Because your name was the Jedi before I even got there. How'd you get that nickname?
I think it was like my freshman spring or something like that. It was in the spring. I know that. I don't even know. He was like, I'm using the force to save these balls because it would like, bounce off both posts and I would just like turn around and it would just like roll into my hands. It would just out of like somehow, some way, either I was just like completely out of position and the ball would just like go to like, she's using the force, like she's using Jedi mind tricks to make the forwards miss. And I was like, okay, sure. Like,
Sweet Anson.
and just, got a little lucky. The ball like would just bounce the right way. But yeah, and so then he started calling me that, and it just like stuck. And I think Dukar still calls me that to this day.
I
Wow.
love that.
All right, JoJo.
Yes.
I'm gonna start with Stearnsy.
Okay.
Give people a little get to know how Stearnsy landed at UVA, but also I want her to talk a little bit about her first experience playing at UVA. So Stearns, first, can you tell us what made you pick UVA and how did your process work going there? And then also talk to us about coming in and being basically thrown right into the fire, having to start more or less immediately and then making a college cup in your first year behind, as I told Joanna, basically an entire senior backline. So just give us a brief little like recruitment, and then we really want to hear about kind of your first year, how you acclimated so quickly into like a really important leadership role in the back.
Sure. Okay. I will try to answer that briefly. Also,
no time limit, but also be brief.
Yeah, right. If you're listening in, you can't see this, but I'm trying to hide the like Hot Wheels track because I'm calling in from my little brother's room who's 6.
It's all
good. Which is a perfect segue to the reason why I obviously considered UVA, which is the fact that both my parents and my grandfather all went to school at UVA and played sports at UVA. My grandfather was on the lacrosse team. We actually found out did a little time on the soccer team, which is pretty exciting, playing for Gene Corrigan. So that was pretty cool. And then my dad played football there. My mom was on the dance team and obviously went on to be a doctor. So she's always laughing because she's like, you introduced me as a dancer, but really she's a doctor. She was in chemistry there. So that was her obviously her full-time gig. But, and then of course I went and played soccer. So that was like the number one reason I think I definitely took a look at it. I'm wearing a UVA sweatshirt now. I was in like a UVA cheer uniform from the time that I was born. So it was certainly something that I was like, I want to go to school here. It is my dream school. Didn't even look anywhere else, was kind of my plan. And then of course, as we got older, I definitely needed to look other places. I know Joe and I've talked about this because I know you picked UNC pretty early on.
Joe was like 7, but that's okay.
Yeah, Joe's in 7th grade, I think. So that was
8. Simmer down.
8th.
Sorry, she was 13.
Yeah. Well, and so it's funny because obviously you can do it all legally as long as you're not signing anything, you're just making verbal commitments. And so I made a verbal commitment my sophomore year of high school to come to UVA. Part of that was because my mom was also in the Army. And so we were moving around. I knew I was going to be leaving Northern Virginia, which is where I was at the time, and moving to Texas. So I kind of wanted to have that like solidified before I moved across the country. But yeah, so I committed my sophomore year, knew I was going, tried to stay in with the national team, youth national teams as much as possible, because I think that's obviously where I was personally getting some of the best training and best soccer. Funny enough, you mentioned Jenny Brennan. That's actually who I trained with in San Antonio. So
nice.
Weird big save connection here. Thank you for
union.
For loaning me a little Tar Heel action there. But so she was awesome when I was in San Antonio for a bit. But yeah, so then I got in. I actually had like a little bit of an injury coming off of our summer with the national team. I had something was up with my back. It's like hard to even remember because my hip really took over by the time we got to our second college cup. But for the first one, I was not really sure whether or not I was going to play in the first year. That was in conversation, but not totally sure. And then long story short, felt good enough. And like 2 games in, Steve was like, all right, you're starting. And we were playing Penn State and they were quite good. They had just come off of a national championship. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is going to happen? We gave up a goal pretty early on and love my back line. They were absolutely incredible. But I remember Morgan Bryan came up. We all laugh about this. She came up and she's like, got in my face. She's like, never again. You will never let a goal in like that again. And we never did. So she was right. And that was awesome. I think we ended up winning the game like 5-1 or something like that. So that kind of like set the stage for a season that was pretty incredible. And it was our first trip back to the college cups since like 1991, which is when my dad graduated. So if that puts into perspective, but that doesn't mean that the teams in between that weren't absolutely incredible and a huge part of why we got there. But it was really special to go back to that, and to be a first year during that time was pretty terrifying, and it was all super new. And I was like such a blur, but definitely felt a lot better having the totally senior back line to include, obviously Emily Sonnet and Kristen McNabb and folks like that who are still playing the league and playing here and abroad. So, yeah.
Kicked ass. She kicked ass.
Yeah. I mean,
She's a Stearnsinator.
Stearnsinator.
Oh, no, not me. I thought you were talking about Sonnet. I was like, oh yeah, she does.
I did too, but let's give you a little. No, she did. She did. Stearnsy. Well, I'll do it for you. She did. That's
Hype
tough.
yourself up. Okay, then on the flip side, Linda, you came in and you redshirted your freshman year. So I want to give you the table to talk about how you won a national championship your redshirt freshman year. And then talk a little bit about how at UNC we love to rotate the goalkeepers. Talk about that from the perspective of you, and then really coming into your own your senior year.
Yeah. Okay. So I got recruited like going to summer camps in the summer. I think I went like 4 years in a row, like so they knew who I was. I just kept going back. And then I got there freshman year and we had 5 goalkeepers my freshman year. So I was the youngest out of 5. And they were like, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and redshirt you. I was like, okay, cool, that's fine. Like might as well. I'm not gonna, see the field. So redshirted freshman year. Sophomore year, we had 3 goalkeepers, but I still didn't really play at all. I think I was Anna that year, Anna Seeloff.
Yeah.
Was that year. So I didn't really play that year either. I was still kind of like developing. I was a little raw, like didn't really have any technique. I just like to fly around and compete. So like I was just, a mess. Still like developing and all that stuff. And then so my 3rd year, I guess my red shirt, whatever it's called. My 3rd year, it was me and Bree Haberlin. And from as long as I can remember, like UNC has always split keepers, like even back to Ashton Harris, like all the way back then. So I think she would play first half and I would play second half for the next 2 years during that time. And then she graduated and then my 5th year, I finally got it all to myself and, played every game that year. It was definitely different. Like I've never like split halves like that before. I don't think anyone in the country or the world splits halves with goalkeepers. But yeah, it was good. I kind of liked playing second half because I could like see the game first, see how it's going and evaluate. And I mean, I wouldn't change my experience at UNC for anything. It was just, it was the best time ever. And I had a lot of fun on the field and off the field. And then, we got lucky enough freshman year. I think we had just, obviously I didn't, play to contribute to the national championship, but I think we had a really good.
You did contribute to the national championship. Stop. Let me interject there, Linda. No,
I know we all are reluctant. We're always like eager to say that, but like we all know what trainings was like in college, especially at UNC and Virginia.
I'm just picturing
everyone
Lindsey,
plays a part.
I'm picturing Lindsey in like 1v1s making flying saves, even though I wasn't there as a freshman. Like I just, yes. So I'm just gonna interject you there.
Like our training environment and just like our team environment was so inclusive and just like everybody matters. So it was just, I think that year the chemistry was just all there for that team, which is I think a huge part of why they did, or we went as far as we did and won it all. So yeah.
You know what? It's interesting hearing that from my side of things, because I obviously didn't know you personally, but me and Joanne have talked about you a lot this year just because of you killed it in the Challenge Cup, your first 2 games, shutouts. I think like it kind of makes sense, right? Because you came in when Jane was absent. And I think it's like very similar to an experience at UNC where it's like you may be in an awkward situation or a different situation. You're expected to perform, even if it's for 45 minutes versus a full game, and kind of work through that mentally, which I think a lot of goalkeepers don't have to face. And I feel like that kind of adds to the next question I have for you guys, because it's not asked enough, but I know for me, Joe, like when a defender scores, I'm like hype. I'm like so hype because I'm like, for me, I'm like, we never get glory. We never get really attention. I feel like it's even more true for goalkeeping because it's like, yeah, like we'll be like, she had a shutout. And like people are like, that's great. But like you really don't have that like glory moment of like, I scored, But like at the same time, Stearns, you just mentioned it. And I'd love to get both your takes on this, but you talked about your first game, maybe letting in a shitty goal or like something unfortunate happening. And you're basically like, it could be like the 6th minute. You're like, I gotta like get it together. You know what I mean? Like you don't have time to sit and harp on your mistakes. And your team's kind of expecting you to, like, I feel like as a goalkeeper, you're kind of held at the highest standard to perform. So I'd love to hear your perspectives on kind of how you in your career had worked through those tough moments, like especially in game, because both of you guys played at programs where like there were leaders in the field that sometimes, you know, in the heat of the moment, maybe probably said things to you that were like, I get it. Like, I just let a goal in. I know, like, or whatever the situation may be. Like, talk to us a little bit more about kind of that journey of having to be resilient even in the toughest moments. Because oftentimes, like, when things go wrong for you, it's wrong for the team, right? Because a goal has probably gone in. Stearns, you can start, and then I'd love to hear what you have to say, Linda.
Yeah, no, sure. I mean, I think I'll hop on the hype up Lindsey train here, even though we're just meeting.
Let's hype it up. Let's hype her up.
I'm on team Lindsey. No, but I think that like what you guys were just talking about in terms of having to jump in as a goalkeeper, I think that's hard for any athlete in general, especially at the highest levels. Because if you've gotten to the highest levels, that means you've probably been one of the highest performers at the level right below, right? So you're probably one of the best in your high school team. You're probably one of the best in your college team. You're probably one of the best, like to kind of continue to go up that ladder. And so to shift your mindset, especially for goalkeeping, because like y'all said, that is the most UNC unique thing ever that you guys switch as often as you do. And I have mad respect for it because I don't know if I would have been able to do that as frequently, just because the way that I was trained and had to understand like sort of playing into a game a little bit. And so I think to have like the mental fortitude to be on right away, to be engaged so much either in the first half or the second half that you're ready to like step in at the collegiate level, I think is really, really hard. So that's like really impressive that y'all, obviously it works for you guys. You have like what, 20 national championships at this point or something crazy like that. So 22. Okay.
Okay.
Soon to be 23, might I add.
Well, no, I'm gonna push back on that a little bit, but we'll save that for the latter half of the podcast.
Okay.
Yes.
But anyway, so I think that like that's a super hard thing, and I had some experiences with that a little bit at like with the national team level and stuff like that. So I have total respect for it, and whether you're stepping in or you're starting from the beginning, like when you're goalkeeping, I mean, you stand out, right? For me, I was like 5'10" and had red hair. So I just like stand out generally in life, being like,
Wasn't your
red.
keeper outfit
Orange too.
orange
Yeah, like,
wherever I go.
So like, I'm sorry to cut you off, but like the equipment staff, like, cause like obviously the keeper always gets like a random color.
Yeah.
And every time like Morgan will walk in, they'd be like, look, we got you a new jersey. She's like, it's flaming orange or like flaming red. I think one year you had like legit, like the reddest color on the spectrum. And she was like black maybe, or like anything but red.
Yeah.
Never.
All I ever wanted to wear was just all black. Like I love that. It looks so sleek and all the time. I got that a few times, but a lot of times it was like bright yellow, bright green, bright red. So you get used to it, but like in general, you stand out, right? So like on the field, people see you. Also, you're using your hands. Like these are not like new things. But with that, like when you make a mistake, like everyone sees it, everyone notices, and you kind of know that too. So I think there's this like mental toughness that you have to have. That's like, I can't harp on my mistake. Like I can't harp on giving up that goal in the first minute or two, because there's 89 more plus overtime to play. And I have to show up in big ways for that. So I think that there's certainly a challenge of doing that and staying in the game. And like, for me, I mean, I was super lucky that I had the #1 offense in the country in front of me that year too. So it was like, I mean, there'd be games where I was chilling for like 80 minutes and then all of a sudden they'd break through and I'd have to like make a 1v1 save or something like that, you know? And so there's this like weird moment of like, you might touch the ball a bunch, you might not touch the ball at all, but when you touch the ball, it almost has to be, it has to be, at least be effective, if not perfect, or else you're giving up rebounds, you're giving up corners. There's not really a lot of time to celebrate. The last thing I'll add, and then I'll shut up. But the one thing is that like, I remember this was your first year at UVA, Tina. And we had just beat, I think Texas A&M to go to the national championships. This is my second Final Four appearance. So this was 2014. And we had won the game. And I remember like all the offensive players like huddled up. Like there's this incredible picture that was up in our locker room of everyone like hugging and smiling and so excited because we made it to the national championship we were going. And I'm like pretty sure it was just like maybe Yumi and Sana in the back, like, that wasn't good enough. Like we have to be better if we want to win, you know? And it was just like, that was what was so like burned into our minds that like, you don't even get to enjoy the win until you're back dancing in the locker room, right? Like you have to be like on it. I don't know. I think that's just like the defensive mindset, the goalkeeping mindset. It can get a little draining, but
I love that. Those are really cool memories.
I want to add before you answer, Lindsay, because I want to get your perspective. What also, when you answer this question, can you give us some insight as to like, I know it doesn't happen a lot at UNC, but playing the second half, how like you're trying to make an impact. Maybe you're down a goal, right? So it's like out of your control almost. I know that's not common for you guys, but let's say that was a scenario. I'm sure it happened maybe once. I'm hoping for the
I think we did it to them. I think we did it to them.
Oh yeah. Maybe it was. But anyway, if that is the case, also talk about kind of being like, all right, like I just need to do my job, but like part of this has already been taken out of my hands because I have to rely on my offense to now get us back in the game, but kind of talk through that mindset as well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess I'll start like how you said you gave up a goal like your first minute of your game or whatever. The first game I played at UNC my third year, I gave up the worst goal ever. And it was like we were playing against, I tell this story all the time because we were playing against Stanford. It was my first ever game playing for UNC under the lights, like
Stanford, Penn State. Way to throw
you guys in there. Sorry.
Yeah. It was under the lights. Yeah. It was it was a primetime game.
All that much worse.
ESPNU.
Primetime Friday night game, and we were playing Stanford, who had apparently we had never lost them in history, like according to the answer, I guess, in history. And we had gone into overtime, and I'm in the goal, and you know the forward comes down my right side, and she like takes a shot, and I think it's going out of bounds, so I just like go like this and like let it go out, but it rolls into the goal. And I was like, we lost. And I just remember after that game, like going straight home and just like crawling into a ball. Like it was just a nightmare kind of goal like that no goalkeeper ever wants to give up. And I just remember Anson like calling me and being like you're good, like you're gonna start on Sunday, like don't worry about it, like you're fine, you know what I mean? And I think like in those moments, it's just, okay, you had, you know, a bad mistake, but you know, like everyone they have the confidence in you, your coach does, all your teammates do. So it's like, you can't just get in this hole because everyone's like, you know, slapping you like, hey, like, you know what you can do, you're fine, you made a mistake, just like pick yourself back up and like, let's get on to the next one.
And Linda too, like just being your teammate then, like we see, speaking from a player that was playing obviously with you at that time, we saw like all the hard work. So like Anson said, it's really like, it was one of the very first games. It was prior to ACC games. Like we legit had your back. I really was like, it was like, okay, so what, that happened. Like we've got to move on. And like, we backed you because I'm also going to just pause and hype Lindsay up right now. She is one of the most underrated, like when she came back into the league, I think a lot of people were surprised about like how like successful you've been in the past 2 or 3 games. But I'm like, none of that is surprising. You're so freaking good and have gone underrated for so long. So I'm just pausing and letting everybody know who the hell Lindsey Harris is, because she's back into the league and she's making her name for herself. That has been well deserved and very overlooked for such a long time. I know I just went on a little rant, but I really want, like, you are so well deserving of all the hype that you're getting right now. And I hope, and like, I just am one of your biggest fans because I see how freaking good you are. And I'm so happy people are recognizing it. Sorry, you can now go ahead.
Well, thanks. Let me just deflate my head a little bit because
it's okay. Joe does that with everybody.
You should hang out with a bunch of washed ups more often.
Oh, we love doing this. We sit here. We just love on you guys because you are. I will say, and Joe can echo this, when you leave, Stearns, you could probably say this, when you leave, you're like, I wish I had more like confidence in, because now we like watch you guys and we're like, people need to love up on these girls. Like they're performing at such a high level in such hard, situations. And I remember like at that time when I was doing it, I was like, oh, never good enough. And it's like, no, you are doing enough. It's just like, we're taught to not want to hype, I'm not telling you to like make your head big, but I do think what you're saying, Joe, is so true. And I'm glad that you're calling it out.
I'm calling it. Now return back to Lindsay's monologue. Go ahead, Lindsay.
Okay. Let me get back to where I was. Okay. But yeah, like you're saying, like you don't have time to get down on yourself as a goalkeeper. Like especially like forwards can make mistake after mistake, mistake after mistake after mistake.
It's
And
unlucky. It's unlucky when they mess up. Unlucky.
Wait,
it-
so wait, hold up. My coach, my head coach right now, he goes, when I first started coaching, like legitly, he goes, you've got to stop saying that. I was like, noted, noted. Sorry, go ahead, Linz.
But yeah, like they make mistakes that people just overlook. But as a goalkeeper, last line of defense, you can't make one, unfortunately, because it costs you the game potentially. So yeah, it's definitely very mental back there, because again, like you said, we might get one touch, one shot in the whole game against us, and it could be a goal. But like you said, that your whole team has your back, everyone has your back. You just have to pick yourself up and move on and have a short memory as well. And what was the question you asked me just
I
before?
asked about, just the
Mindset going into games where at UNC, where it's like maybe you're down a goal and it had nothing, you literally weren't on the field, but kind of what were you telling yourself going into that second half, being like, okay, like is it like I just have to do my job? Like, how do you feel pressure wise to kind of perform?
Yeah, I guess when you go in down, you just kind of have to like bring an energy to kind of pull everyone back up, because you go into the halftime and probably some coach is yelling at you for something. So like you have to come in and like be a fresh spark to get everyone like motivated and going again, and be like, there's still 45 minutes. Like we can do, like if they can score one, we can score two. Like we're very much still in it. So it's just like being a fresh presence, I guess.
Yeah. I think I think it's interesting too, because both Stearnsy and you, Linz, like you have a certain energy and presence about you, which is massive with the goalkeeping position. When you feel like you have somebody that you can rely on, that's going to provide energy, that's going to lay into you when you need, that's going to pick you up when you need, that's going to give you the confidence when you need. And both of you, I think it's why you've been so successful and have had and are having successful careers on the field, is because you have that ability to make the other people around you, it just completely elevate them as human beings and players, which I think is a special component of goalkeeping that it can't be measured. It's not just a shot stopping. It's
Definitely not just physical talent.
It's not
You have to have a
physical talent.
mentality and a presence.
You also have to have like an aura. Like you have to have that like energizing, like when you walk into the room, it's like, okay, all right, I'm here for it. And both of you have that in different ways, which I think is really cool. Lindsay's like moonwalking into the field, and then Stearnsy's like doing some like weird like Vogue, like probably like called, what is it? I still don't know.
I think it's voguing, right?
Voguing.
Yeah, I can see
voguing.
like voguing, and Lindsay's like trying to like get after it. Yeah, there she goes.
Yes.
There she goes. Exactly. So I'm really curious about this on both perspectives. So obviously these are some pretty top-notch, high quality, high class programs with UNC and UVA, led by our fearless leaders, Anson Dorrance and Steve Swanson. Stearnsy, go ahead and go first. What is your either most memorable, funniest, fondest, most cringeworthy memory of Steve Swanson?
That can go in so many
Lindsay,
directions.
you can think of Anson's.
Hold on, I need a minute.
Do we need a minute?
Well,
I'll let you think.
No. I'll tell a
quick little something.
We can insert a Duncan ad while they think.
Joe, why don't you do it? Do
Hi,
a Dunkin' ad.
this is 2 Wash-Ups 1 Pro, sponsored by Dunkin' Donuts, the local Raleigh, North Carolina shop on Creedmoor Road. You're trusted. This podcast runs on you. It would not be here without you.
Your donuts and your
2
coffee.
Wash-Ups 1 Pro runs on Dunkin', and that's tune back into your Tune back into your listening program. And
wow, I'm a little blown away at how good that was.
We're really pushing that Duncan
Sponsorship. Not happened yet, but we're gonna get it.
Here's what I'm thinking. I was gonna say, are y'all legally allowed to do that? But go for it.
Maybe bleep it later.
So here's what's coming to mind, and it's because I laughed and looked at Tina, and this is what made me thought of it. So one year for Halloween, we all decided to dress up for training one day. So I think I had like a funny, like, it was like a short, like little, like black bob wig that I put on. And I had like a big, long, like puffy jacket. And I was Edna mode and like, stuff like that. People were just like funny little things. Next thing I know, I hear the door of the old U-Haul, which bless its soul is now down. We're working on building up something new. But at the time she like blew through the locker room at our door in U-Haul. And she had like put her hair up in this ponytail, like had her hair up in front with the hat on, like wearing all of Steve's sweats. And you were Steve Swanson for Halloween, right? And we all knew, like, as you all know, love Steve, but like everyone knows like their little coaches, like Steve-isms, right? So he's like, all right, let's go. Like he would always be like, all right, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. All right, here we go. All right, let's go. And like he had this like very like energetic way that he speaks to us, like get us all hyped up, and it works. But Tina had come in and she was like, all right, Rudy, all right, you're gonna go do this thing? Okay, here we go. And yep, all right. And like kind of did this whole thing. And the best part about Steve is like never once was he like, what the heck, Tina? He was like cracking up, loving it the whole time.
No, I'm pretty sure he was like, all right, like, coach, you're going to tell us what's going on at
Practice today. Like he always like, I like this
Yeah,
about Steve. He would be like, we tell you exactly how practice is going to go, like cones, scrimmage. So we had it up there and I'm like, all right, yeah, we're going to do cones real quick. Some touches, some work. We're going to do 4v4 and then shooting. Okay. All right, let's go. Let's go.
So like that gives you a little bit of an idea of like how ridiculous it is. So we do these things called, this is like the last thing I'll say. So we do these things called superstars, which are like awards for the most ridiculous thing. I will not get
like
into
the dumbest things people say. You'll get caught all year for this stuff.
And somehow, and Lindsay, maybe you'll get this in like the hour, whatever, how long this podcast is, but Tina and Joe know for certain, the fact that I never got one of these things was insane because I'm just ridiculous all the time. But what he did do was give out an honorable mention, and this is like is burned into my mind. So it's like the banquet, right? Like everyone's there, everyone's families are there. And like, I may have been in a relationship that ended not too soon before. And so Steve, like, this is just Steve. So Steve like calls out, he's like, we gotta, whoever's with their boyfriend, whoever's with their, whoever, like he's like calling out, like saying all the relationships, people who are now like married and expecting children, right? Like wonderful relationships or whatever. And in front of like our whole team, all the parents, everybody, all the support staff, he goes, and Stearnsy, well, she was in a relationship, but that's over now. And like calls me out. And this was like 2 weeks before.
She's been crying for 2 weeks.
2 weeks before. And we had and it was like right before, because this happened like right before we went to the national championship. Like it was a tough go. And he had called me out in front of everybody. So that's just like, I don't know. Of course, incredible coach and awesome guy. He's hilarious though. Like I don't think people realize how funny he is and how willing he is to like dog on people.
Oh, he'll blast you
in front of everybody. You're like, okay, my mom's here, but that's cool.
Yeah. But it was so funny. It was so funny.
All right, Linz, I'm curious about yours. Let me hear it. There's too many to count. There's too many.
So many. I'm just like gonna go on small tangents here.
Okay, let's hear it. I want to hear them.
Well, like I think my first impression of Anson was like I would take my mom to visit, and my mom is a lawyer, and Anson has like this one lawyer story that he just like loves to tell. So like when we first went, he like told her this whole story. Like it was like some long story. It was really funny, but it was like this story. And then like the next time my mom came to visit, he'd be like, "Oh, you're a lawyer? Oh, let me tell you this story." And he told the story over again, and we just pretended like we hadn't heard it before and like laughed. And then I think it happened like a third time, and I was like, "Anson, you're losing it, buddy." Like he told the story. "Oh, you're a lawyer? Let me tell you this story." And he like always has stories, but I feel like he always like says them over and over again, but it never gets old. So that was like my first impression of him. And then I guess just at practice, he's so direct. Like if you mess up, he'll be like, I'll censor it. "What the heck was that? My grandma has a better touch than that." Like just like
freaking idiot.
It's very direct, but it's just like hilarious, like in no way, shape or form do we think it's like, bad in any way. It's just like, it's just hilarious. He's just direct. If he doesn't like it, he'll let you know. Like I'll go so long, goalkeepers usually like it's the goalkeeper coach that, is like really coaching us. But like, if you hear it from Anson, if I heard it from Anson, like I know I messed up. Like,
yeah,
he'll let you know. And then what was the other one? Oh yeah, we were all at like a team dinner or something, and I don't know how we got on the topic, but like we got into like arm wrestling.
Oh God, yes, yes, yes.
And I was like, yeah, I'll arm wrestle you. Like, let's go. And so I
Like,
thought
I
it
don't
was
have a
an
chance.
easy win. You know, he's like, I don't know how old he was at the time, but I was like, oh, this will be easy. You know, like I've been working out. Like it's fine.
Look at your shirt. You got you're like Iron Man. Yeah.
Like, performance, like weight room shirt. I'm like, oh, this will be easy. I got this. And then it's in front of everyone, and we start going. He beats me in like 30 seconds. Like so fast. He was like next, and now I just like embarrassed me in front of the whole team that this dude just beat me in an arm wrestling match.
Well, I like, now that you brought that up, I remember because that was when he started bragging about how he has won every intramural, like he holds records for every intramural possible like sport that's held at UNC. And like he loves to make sure to let everybody, he was like, I've won the dorm championship for Avery since I've held that record for 55 years. And it's like oh,
he's so competitive. Like I think he might have even beat Paige Nielsen at one point. And
I'm pretty sure he did.
Wow.
Pretty sure he did.
He's a reigning.
That girl's got guns, so I'm actually like respect.
Well, now that we've come to the intramural kind of side of things, we're also not only are we speaking to two goalkeepers, but we're also speaking to two stud basketball players.
Stearnsy, I let her know.
Yeah, the reaction.
I let her know, Stearnsy.
Don't even get me started.
Do you guys like basketball more than soccer?
Can I say that on this podcast?
If you want, yeah, whatever you feel.
I was a hoop star from day one. That's like all I wanted to do in my life. I literally found this like when in 2025, like I think I'll be 30. And I had written this when I was like 10, and it was like, I'm going to be playing in the WNBA. I will be a multimillionaire. I will have a log cabin. Like I had all these things that I had written. I hoop star for sure. Sadly, even though I like started and played every minute, every game, I had a 2-point average. So for folks who don't follow basketball, that's
big time rebounder, big time rebounder over here.
Huge defensive player.
Defensive player of the year.
Yeah, I was a point guard too. So that means I had the ball every possession and I would score like 1 to 2 baskets a game. So big team player, lots of assists as well.
Big team player. Lindsey's, were you on the same intramural team? Did we?
I know we are 3 out of 4 time intramural champ in basketball.
Oh,
one year we had an upperclassman team and an underclassman team.
That's what it was. Yeah. You were on
And I think we played each other in like the semifinals, and like all the coaches came. Like Anson loved when we would like play other sports. Like he would like encourage it.
He would come to all the games.
Yeah,
we were not allowed to even do anything.
There were no intramurals.
Yeah.
Lindsey, what position did you play in basketball?
I think I was just like running around all over the place.
You were able to go rogue. You just went rogue.
Yeah,
Are we aware that your handle on Instagram is Hoop LA Squad? I was like looking when I was looking at your
Hoopla Squad.
Hoopla Squad. Sorry.
Nothing to do with basketball, but
I was like,
can you give us the origin on that?
Yeah, give us a little something on that.
So let's see. I don't know how old I was when I made my Instagram, but I was at my grandma's house. I remember this. I was like, I'm trying to make an Instagram, but I don't want it to just be like Lindsey Harris, like so basic, so lame. Like no offense.
Morgan's is Morgan Stearns and mine is Joanna Finema.
Tina Giordano.
Yeah, I was just like, let me be different, like trying to be some like cool middle schooler. I don't even know. But I was watching music videos and this guy had a sweatshirt on that said like Hoopla Gang. And I was like, ooh, that's kind of cool. But, like, let me change it to Squad. Like, that's a little bit more, my level. So I was like, Hoopla Squad. Yeah, let's go with that.
I hope you never get rid of it.
I love it.
People know you by that now.
It never really stuck until college. The men's soccer team would call me Hoopla, and I think that's what started it. That's like people really started calling me that, and now people on my team call me Hoopla, Hoops, Hoopy.
What are all your nicknames? Because I feel like goalkeepers, we get like a new nickname. I got like 30 going. So what do you got on your roster?
We've got Jedi. We've got Linda. We've got Hoopla. What else do we got? I feel like there's more, but I just can't remember at this point.
I'm trying to think too.
I'll just answer anything at this point. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
Michael Jordan.
Hey, you.
Yeah. Stearnsy, what are yours?
Well, Stearnsy. Stearnsy. Stearnsinator. That's my Twitter, my old Twitter. I know I never go on Twitter anymore, but back when it was cool, I was cool for me.
It was always funny because like Steve's always
Stearnsy.
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 Stearnsy. Claudia, because that's what my dad wanted to name me. It didn't stick.
Claudia.
Everyone found out, and that stuck. Red, Ginger Cat, Big Red, Big Red, Agent Zero.
Those are
God, there were
quality.
so
my
many.
family
They were
calls
all
me
cool.
Morgus, Morgie,
Wow.
Pookie.
Yeah,
I
she
mean,
has a
literally,
lot.
like,
She
there's
literally,
so-
yeah, she's like,
You
so
also
many.
respond to "Hey you."
Yeah, I'm like, what's up? What do you need?
yeah.
How can I be of service to you today?
You
So
go ahead, Teen. I was also can I just also hype
Yeah.
both of them up on
hype 'em.
their dancing skills? Stearnsy has like a different.
Oh, yeah,
I already
shit.
did this, but Stearnsy has like a little more like vibey kind of thing, and Lindsay just goes hard. I sat in the locker room my freshman year, and I credit the ounce of rhythm that I have accumulated.
You've been working on it though over the
I
years.
have is dedicated honestly to the both of you at different points in my life. Stearnsy got me to actually listen to what a beat was.
You had to practice clapping to the rhythm a little.
Yeah, we had to practice clapping. And then Lindsay, I would just sit in the locker room and watch her dance and be like, okay, so that's okay. Okay. So I credit both of you in different points of my life for allowing me to have 1 ounce of rhythm in my soul. So thank you to the both of you. I've never publicly said that, but I've got both of you in front of me right now. And I just want to publicly state that because you guys have done a lot for me in that realm.
Happy to take credit for that. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
How far you've come.
Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you.
Still working on it, but we're
Getting there. Good job,
Yeah.
Joe.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's get into this, like, let's get into, you know, why we're here, kind of, but the College Cup. Me and Joe, I'll be honest, we don't cover a lot of the college game, but we figured this is a good time to chat about it. Talk about y'all's experience. Joe, you can even chime in yourself if you have thoughts on it, but talk about your experience with the College Cup, kind of what it meant to you. I think Stearns made it to 2. I made it to 1 because I transferred in, but I could just briefly say for myself, like playing a sport that we obviously don't get like a lot of big events. It was probably the highlight of my career in college, obviously, but I think it's really fun what they do around it. And I'm excited that both our teams are in it this weekend. But yeah, talk about kind of, and it's a little weird this year because it's in the spring, but talk about kind of the experience of going through a full season, having that kind of be the pinnacle. Obviously, you know, me and Stearns lost the national title, so that's a little awkward subject, but it was still worth it. And like you guys said, I would never take back my experience, but yeah, talk about the College Cup experience for yourself. You can start, Stearns.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because they obviously both ended not the way that we wanted. And if anyone was tuning into ESPN that day, they saw Lindsay, at least think of it this way. At least you got the courtesy of curling up in private. I was curled up on ESPN for anybody who was tuning in that day to watch me like convulsing, crying on the ground when we lost the national championship. So needless to say, it's like a very emotional event. And I think that so much of that is like, first off, years that go into getting there, right? Like that, needless to say that
Good point.
Our sisters and friends who are going to be playing, you know, tomorrow and Monday, like years went into them getting to that point, and like loads of people, you know, there's no way it was just me that got myself to playing at the College Cup. Could name so many folks who had a hand in that. So there's a lot of pressure, right? Like there's a lot sort of riding on that. And to y'all's point, like you never know when you're going to get an opportunity that big again. Like so few people get to have that. And then even fewer will get to play at a professional level and go for those championships. And then even fewer will get to play in a World Cup or an Olympic championship. I mean, it's really so special. So like, I think going into it, like part of it is this mentality of like, I want to soak it up and enjoy it and live it as much as I can. And then the other part of it is like, but you have to really be so focused too. And obviously it might be a little odd this year because of COVID and it's the spring and, I don't know how much they can fully do around it and the way that, we might've had like a banquet and stuff like that. But like,
Right.
it's a little funny because like, also, you get there and I saw a bunch of my friends from other teams that you want to run up to them and give them a hug and be like, what's up? Like, how are you? I haven't seen you.
So
He's
true.
like, I'm so stoked for you. Like, this is the dopest thing. And then you have to be like, oh, but by the way, I'm like ready to kill you tomorrow. Like it's this like weird, crazy like thing that we all have. The community is really, really small in that way. So like, yeah, it was wild. I mean, I playing against, it was UCLA my first year and then Texas A&M and then Florida State in the national championship my second year. And, I mean, that UCLA game was like epic. Like I remember it was like the save of my life off of one of I can say that now. I'm like far enough removed. I was like, no, that was the best save I've ever made in my life. And so that was like super cool to have. And it was just back and forth. And then we gave up a goal like kind of late. And that was sort of it to tie it up. And then we went into PKs and, the chips kind of fall at that point. I think it's just like such a toss up when it comes to PKs, but like, that was the first year and we were crushed, but like credit to Steve and our like senior leadership on the team. That was just like, no, like our goal is to win a national championship and we're not going to stop until we do it. And so coming back, like, I don't know, to me, like I would not have changed it like Tina said, because I think like when you're down, the people who you're wrapping arms around each other with when you're down are the same people who you're going to claw and fight with on your way up. And they're the same people that you're going to hoist the trophy up with. And like, we kind of knew like, it was awful to lose, but like looking, to my right and to my left and seeing the women that I had accomplished what we had with, like, I said it then and I'll say it now and I'll say it till I die. Like they're my family. And I know a lot of teams say that. And we were some of the lucky few who it was the truth for us. I'm sure you guys felt the same way with your team, but like, they're my family. I mean, they really, really are. They still are to this day. And like real life stuff, we've all gotten each other through. And I think like those relationships were built frankly, in those failures. Like you really had to lean on each other, and kind of the same thing when we lost the national championship. So, I mean, obviously the second year is amazing because we won a game in the College Cup to get to the national championship. And it was incredible, but yeah, I mean, I say it and it sounds kind of like negative and hard, but like at the end of the day, I mean, it was such a freaking honor. And like being able to do that with the women that are, again, like I said, like still some of my closest and best friends and my family in many ways, like I would not have traded that ever. I will lose a game every year if it means I get to gain the relationships that I did from that. Like 100%. That's not even a question to me.
Dang, Stearns. Lindsay, can you follow that up?
I mean, all I can say is like,
he's like, yeah, because we won.
No, I
have a trophy.
Family. Like Hannah Gardner, who I came in with freshman year, and she redshirted as well, and we ended up graduating together. Like I talk to her every day. I talk to like everyone. Like they're the only, like I don't even count my high school friends anymore. Like my college friends are my family, and like we always talk about, oh guys, we should all like, get houses on the same street when we all have families, and like we can all live together on the same street. It'd be so fun. Like they're truly my family. So like I resonate with all of that you said. It's like you really gain just friends for life playing college soccer.
Love that. It's true. So to wrap things up.
Well, my senior year, we actually did lose in the College Cup. So I get.
Do you feel it a little bit?
I feel a little bit because like we hadn't been to the College Cup since my freshman year, and then my fifth year, when I was playing by myself, like we got to the College Cup, and it was just, I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. Like we had that little banquet, and I was like, wow, this is so cool. And they like gave us like a duffel bag with like a soccer ball, and I was like, this is sick. They even
we're like, free gear. We got a soccer ball.
I own a soccer ball. Like this is dope. Like
our like men's basketball friends are like, cute.
We got beats.
Joe, I want to add something before you get to the final thing.
Okay, go ahead.
I just want to note too that I feel like something that always should be said, and I wish I had heard this from somebody in our positions now when I was back in college or before that, is just the note that like really, really, regardless if you're in a top D1, a D2, or you're thinking about going D1 and playing, like enjoy that time so much, because even, and I'm sure Lindsay, you can relate to this, even when you're playing in the NWSL, we have many friends that are, me and Stearns played abroad. Like, I don't care if you go with your best friend, it's a completely different experience. And that doesn't mean it's a bad experience. It's just different. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the same way you're so integrated professionally with players, it's just a different vibe versus like college. I feel like even like thinking back to when Lindsey said like, oh, I didn't play a piece. I absolutely guarantee if I asked every UNC girl that was on that team, if you played a piece, they would have said absolutely 100% yes. And I think like that alone's an example of the difference is like, if we would have won, I would have looked at every girl from, so as an example, just to bring this up, Lizzie Saraki, who scored our goal to get us into the College Cup this year, she did not play 1 minute when I was at Virginia. She was a redshirt. When I tell you that girl was the number one teammate on the sideline my senior year, every single game. I mean, she was the hypest person in the stadium.
Lindsey.
And if we had won that year, I would have said 110%. She played a huge factor in our ability to perform on the field. So like, I was like crying at the game on
Oh my God.
last week because I was like, this is a girl who didn't play every year, who didn't start every year. And she got her senior year moment. And it was like amazing moment to get them into the College Cup. And I just feel like I want to reiterate that because I know girls watch this that are either in college or about to go. And I'm not like dissing on the pros because I think it's an incredible feat and we all did it. But there's just something to be said about really embracing the college moment in your 4 years because it goes by. I mean, think about it. We're all out. I can't believe how long it's been.
Yeah.
It's been crazy. But what I think is so great is that we're able to do this. We're able to connect. We're able to talk about it. We're able to reflect. And that's what I think is most powerful, to be a little sappy. But like, soccer's brought me you guys. And I think that's something like me and Lindsey don't talk every day, but like, I know I hit her up and she's like, yo, like Linda, like I whenever I look back and like, whenever I text Lindsey, it's always in caps. Like I text Lindsey in all capital letters. And just that connection, that bond allows us to go into these deep conversations and rehash things, which I think is super, super special. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for jumping on. But before we end, Stearnsy, what's a who?
What's a who? Okay, the other thing too, can I say one last thing on that front?
Absolutely, Stearns.
Well, one thing that I was thinking is like, Joe's been one of my best friends since we were in 7th grade.
Yeah.
And we've never even lived in the same state. We've never gone to the same school. We've never, you know what I mean?
Me and Joe never connect if it's not for Stearnsy.
Yeah.
Like we don't even do this if it's not for Stearnsy. Like I wouldn't have known Joe personally if it wasn't for you.
Fun fact, Linz, I met Tina through Stearns and then.
Because she knew I was moving to Raleigh and she was like, oh, well, Joe's there. It's just like a couple of years back. And we've just been it's crazy how we all connect.
But that's the thing is it's like if you're teetering on the edge of whether or not to pursue a career in soccer, like at the collegiate level or whatever, like if for nothing else, do it because you get like the dopest people in the world in your life. Like truly, I mean, it's like no doubt to me. Everyone I say this to is like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I'm not like a soccer junkie like y'all, you know what I mean? Like I was never like, get me a soccer game on TV. Like I probably should have been, I'd probably be a much better goalkeeper in the end, but like, that was never my passion. My passion was like, y'all, like, I was like, I get to have friends. I get to compete. I get to work hard at something with people that are pushing me and supporting me. And like, I get to lose and win with people that I love. And even people that you're like, we're not anything alike. Maybe we don't even get along, but like, we're still on a team together. You know what I mean? So I just think that like, I don't know. I wanted to jump on that because it's like, even folks who like
that who would have thunk that Joanna Boyles, I remember playing in Jersey against Big Bun Joanna Boyles of Castle. I was on
these
Albertson days. New Yorkers were cursing on the field. They're Southern gals. I would, if someone had said to me in that moment, you see that Big Bun girl over there? You guys are going to be shooting the shit in 10 years with women soccer players about how you're wash-ups and they're killing it in the league. And I would have been like, good one. Okay, that girl, yeah. It's just funny how things play out. So I think that's a really good point.
I apologize to anybody out there for what I said to you on the field.
Oh, Joe, our parents are probably cursing at you. Who even knows? We're like,
I apologize.
Joe, I mean, Stearnsy, tell them about Oahu because you're gonna.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Tell us about Oahu.
Listen, this is urban legend, so I don't super want to be like the spokesperson for this. It's my understanding that the joke was that Oahu was a fish that could drink twice its weight in water, and then it got shortened to who. I've also heard there's like a more historical story, but I'm not in the business of getting.
Virginia's very, just to make a note, Virginia, we're very like big on like making shit up that like we say is like, we're like, don't call it campus. It's like the grounds. Like we just do
Yeah,
shit
you
like
guys
that.
are
People are
weird.
like,
Yeah.
they're like, we're like, you're not a senior. You're
fourth year.
And like we just say shit and people are like, your guys are like assholes. Will you just like embrace it? So I think it's just like another one of those things where we try to be different.
Linz,
Tar Heel.
I've got two for you.
Y'all are Virginia fishes. Like y'all's mascot is a fish.
But the mascot is a Cavalier.
Yeah.
The mascot's a Cavalier, but like if you're saying go Cavaliers, you probably didn't go to UVA. You know what I mean? Like if someone's saying
go Cavs, it's like not a thing.
Like, nah, you didn't go there. So it's all go Who's.
Okay, so Linz, describe what a Tar Heel is, and then also everybody's always like, "What's this GT Bath thing?" So describe that, and then describe
whatever they're called. Okay. Again, there's like two stories I've heard.
Urban legends,
I guess. One of them is, okay, I don't know what war and what soldiers, because I don't know history.
Oh, wow.
All I know is that there was some soldiers who were defending something.
Yep.
And they were, deep in the woods, blah, blah, and they refused to retreat. Like the other army, whatever, could not push them back. It was like they had tar on their heels. They were stuck.
Stonewall.
They weren't gonna retreat. They weren't backing down. Like, tar on their heels. That's where that part comes from. So it's like, we don't back down. We don't retreat. We're stuck here. Ain't getting rid of us easy, I guess.
Interesting.
And then describe what GT Bath is, because everybody's like, "What is that?"
What is that? Is that a thing?
Yes, we tag it on everything. It's everything that everybody tags.
Is this the hashtag all in?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is y'all's hashtag all in.
Got you.
It's just a great day to be a Tar Heel.
Yeah, great day to be a Tar Heel.
That's all it is. But everybody's like, "What's this Bath hashtag you have?" And it's like, it's a great day to be a Tar Heel. So back up.
You gotta.
We can only stay peaceful on this call for so long.
I know, and then we're like,
okay.
Like that's dumb. We don't even like that.
The thing is though, is I feel like there's so many of y'all that were on your team that I was so close with that like I can never get that up in arms about it. There's one team. Y'all know the team that I'm like, it's Florida State, baby. That's my team.
We're about to play that.
Okay, JoJo's coming to game with me tomorrow, and she I get like I'm still in it. Like I'm like Tina.
We'll go on live.
I'm like Tina. You need to take it down a notch. Like I don't like even at the game on when like I saw the Florida State coaching staff. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not talking like well coached, great team, great
so
players.
much respect for them, but like
listen,
but like
pump
that's
the brakes. We know.
Who did you guys hate? Because we honestly, I don't remember having like UNC hate. Like I didn't have that.
Except when I got this little scar right here, but we won't get into that.
Yeah, FSU for us.
Each other? That scar?
Yeah, we Alex wrecked you, didn't she? Yeah. Alex Kimball wrecked Stearns. Yeah, wrecked her.
Yeah, who's y'all's like every time they come, you're like, we better bring it. Like
I hated Florida State.
I hated Florida
State. Is it not Duke?
Like, what is it?
I feel like it would have been Duke for y'all.
It was Duke also.
It was Duke.
I also didn't like Florida State.
It was freaking Dagny.
Oh, okay. Literally, Dagny as a midfielder, where you're just like, Jesus Christ!
One
every
of the
goal
most
kick.
underrated players.
Yeah,
she's wild. You guys should get her on the show just because she like ended our lives so many times.
Oh my God! And what's her name? Who threw the ball in the goal? Literally, I couldn't.
Throw it. What even was that? I was like, who?
Literally,
does
what's
that?
her name? She's Irish. I gotta.
She's on the Irish national team. I know.
I mean, this girl could throw a ball in. I mean, we Steve one day told Morgan, if she throws it and no one touches it,
you can let it in. You can let it in the goal because it doesn't count apparently.
Yeah, it doesn't count if you throw it in.
Well, we would.
I'm dying. I'm sorry, I'm dying a little
Lindsey,
bit.
Lindsey was taught to be a DB. We went around.
On our throw-ins, we would put like 3 people on the goal line, and Anson said, just go stand in the box and just like be a football player and just go get the ball. Like we'll
That's
put
not a bad move.
Yeah. Lindsey, because
like
Lindsey's so athletic. Lindsey's so athletic that
those throws were so deadly. Like we had to do a whole like set piece.
It was if you let the ball
literally
out on the
like
half,
an
it's a
end
corner kick every single time.
Yeah, it's tough. It literally makes everybody get fired up. Everybody had to deal with it.
It's like the one thing to remember from Florida State.
I know.
This is why I'm laughing, because my wonderful father has gifted my sister and I many photos of us like life size from our playing days. And my two little brothers who were like babies when we were playing, but now they're like the younger one's like super EVA. I'm in his room, obviously. And I realized that this is sitting, and this is the same.
Oh, Morgan. So you guys know what these,
You guys, if Lindsay doesn't know my dad, but like, you know how with the COVID vaccine cards, people are like, which you shouldn't because it messes with the ink, but they're like, you should go laminate it.
Yeah.
My father can't like go and pay the 120. Actually, I think it's free. Like, I think like Staples is like, because you got vaccinated, we'll do it for free. He can't do that. He bought a laminating machine, and his new project in life is to find old photography of us and laminate them in like large paper. He brought me like 7 I'm like, Dad, what am I? You printed like I'm like sweating. I'm like crazy looking in a Virginia jersey. Like, where am I supposed to put this laminated picture of myself? Like up in my house?
And you can't unlaminate things too.
Well, these are like framed, the ones I got. That's just like one-off. The ones I got are framed. But the thing is it's the parents. You know what I mean? Like, they're so into it. I can't blame them. They spend a lot of time schlepping me around. So if they want to frame it, put it on the wall.
Lindsay, we'll have to get some
Laminated pics of you and like go in the stands at Houston and like be your
Yeah.
little like cheering
We need
section.
when you roll through North Carolina, we're here. We're all.
Oh
I'll
yeah,
make
we're
sure-
gonna make we'll make a life-size head of you or something.
I think it's like June 16th or
Lindsay,
July.
I also have a question for you.
I don't know.
This is hinting, winking in the near future. If we were to perhaps send you a shirt, would you rep it?
Duh.
Okay, cool.
I love shirts. I wear them every day.
We got to get on that Houston gram.
Yeah,
you
we
know?
want to get on the Houston gram. That gram's fire.
Maybe we'll get like a double whammy. We'll get a shot of you and Jane like
yeah.
in
Or
the
like,
gear.
like wear it to like game day. And,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get us a little air time. Get us a little air time.
You can count on the goalkeepers in that regard. Because earlier, Joe, when you were talking about a presence, like the thing I wanted to say was like, no, we're just like straight weird. Like none of us are normal, and you can't be to do it.
No.
So we'll get your shirt on, get rocking. I'm all about it.
Like
I
I'll
love
wear a Coors Light onesie to a game day if I have to. Like if
Yeah.
it,
If we give you a onesie, a 2 wash-ups,
We
1
can
pro,
do
1.
that.
Or, you know, we could do that. If
I
you
screen
want.
press everything. I can screen press
So.
anything you want.
perfect.
Well,
All right.
you two goalkeepers, Morgan Stearns, UVA, Lindsey Harris,
Go Who's.
go
baby.
Heels.
Who's
Yes.
baby.
And then we can hate each other again.
Yes, yes. We thank you. We love you. Thank you for joining 2 wash-ups, 1 pro. We'll see you hopefully in the national championship game, UNC versus UNC. Calling it now.
Yeah. Good luck to both teams. Let's play each other in the championship.
Yeah.
Please,
Awesome.
Lord.
Thank you.